What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris
Am on.
podcast, episode 236, Big Energy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good day, whatever you're doing. You're at home, you're at work. We appreciate y'all tapping into the live stream. You're listening on the playback. We appreciate you too. Leave a comment in the comments section. We got a few things to speak on. The NFL Combine has wrapped up this weekend, and we are going to be heading into free agency period coming up soon. But we got to recap what we saw from the NFL Combine, whose stock is up, whose stock is down, who has a possibility to regain some stock in their pro days and leading into the draft. Also, a little bit of NFL news has went down today too. Give Maul's thoughts on it. He's also going to give us some NBA news. I'm sure there's some things to talk about in the NBA.
Mhm.
I'll give you a quick recap of the Elimination Chamber, what I saw, and yeah, man, we got some things to speak on. Um, also, we're gonna give our top five corners and safeties to kind of wrap up our edition of top five positions or players at their position from last season, and of course, I better Surefire picks. Before we do that, Maul, how you feeling, sir?
Oh man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a lot better. Finally getting over this cold, man. So, man, I'm in good spirits, man. Enjoying this last day off before I get back on the grind of work, man. So, can't complain, brother. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I can't complain myself, man. All right, man. Let's kick this thing off, man. Let's talk about the NFL Combine, man.
Yep.
We all know, man. You can only put so much stock in these, combines, man. These guys are
Mhm.
running in shorts and t-shirts, and
Yep.
they're doing drills that, outside of some of the cone drills, some of those stuff, the change of direction stuff, those are, viable ways of seeing if guys can change direction right, and if how athletic these guys are, if the hips are too stiff, or things of that nature. But the 40 time, it's a good measuring stick of speed, because you do want your wide receivers who are more of a fast, who are considered a fast guy. You do want them to have a good 40 time to kind of say, okay, we see that he's fast. When you see a guy who's a little smaller and he runs a 4.54 or whatever, it's like, it's kind of underwhelming, you know what I'm saying? But you still put on the game tape, and it doesn't always equate to NFL speed. Some guys, hell, Jerry Rice ran like a 4.7, I think, and
Mhm.
he's held the greatest wide receiver of all time. So
Mhm.
um, it's only so much stock you can put in these 40 times, because we've seen guys who ran 4.21s and 4.26s, and they can't get separation from a cornerback to say they live. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's only so much brain, but it is a good measuring stick. It is good to see some of these guys show their athletic profile. I think the talk of the combine for me was probably Sonny Styles. We already knew Arvell Reese was going to be an athletic freak, but Sonny Styles really showed out. He ran like I think he ran a 4.46. He had a 43.5 vertical, and he had a 11.2 broad jump. Now, I think all those are records for linebackers. So
Mhm.
that shows his athletic profile. I think that boosted up his stock
Mhm.
as far as he could possibly be a top five pick now. I think Sonny Styles was probably picked, looking into being like a top 10, maybe outside of the top 10. But now I don't see him coming out of the top 10 now, because I think teams are going to be like, bump it. We could take him, and either he's going to shore up our middle linebacker spot and, possibly be our Fred Warner type, where we could play him all over the field. He can cover tight ends. He could do a lot of things. Then you had Arvell Reese. He had a pretty good showing too. Um, Sonny Styles' brother, Lorenzo Styles, senior, he had a really good combine too. I think he ran like a 4.28. So that showed his athletic profile too. Of course, Jeremiah Love. We all knew Jeremiah Love was the best running back. He might be the best player in this drive. He ran a 4.36. He killed all the cone drills and all that stuff. Another running back, Mike Washington from Arkansas, he ran a 4.33. The dude is like 6 foot and like 220 something pounds. So
Mhm.
that's really impressive for somebody his size. And he actually had a really good season in Arkansas. And then you also had the quarterback from Arkansas who ran like a 4.3. He had like a 43-inch vertical and all that stuff. He did pretty well in throws too. His stock might be moving up too. Then of course, you had the Ruben Bain discourse with his arm length. I really don't. really care about that. You put the tape on. He was out there playing against dudes who were bigger than him, arm length bigger, and he still got around and got to the quarterback, especially in the playoffs when it was harder competition, stiffer competition at the offensive line. Period. The Indiana boys ain't small, so uh, he didn't have a problem, getting around those guys. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he had the what's his name, Thienerman, the safety from Oregon. He had a really good combine. I think he ran like a 4.3 something. Um, so yeah, overall, man, I know there was discourse on Carnell Tate's 40 time. I didn't expect Carnell Tate to run a 4.4 or 4.3. Like that's not his game. He's a route running, high point the ball type receiver. That's his game. So I wasn't really too tripping. Some people have taken him off the board. I guess whatever. But I know there was discourse with Makai Lemon in his interviews. It is what it is. You know how that goes. Guys.
No, it's not. It is what it is. It's not. It really is not. It's not.
Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny that all of a sudden that comes out, um, but yeah, overall, there were some guys I was disappointed that they didn't test, like Peter Woods. He didn't test. I know Jordan Tyson, he has the injury thing, but that's still kind of alarming that, he didn't work out. Um, we all know Fernando Mendoza, he's going to be the number one overall pick. He didn't need to work out. Caleb Downs, he's good. He's going to be a top probably 5 pick. So I'm not worried about him either. But yeah, man, what was your overall thoughts on the combine?
I think overall, I think the Styles brothers were one of the bigger winners, man. I think both of those guys truly show their athletic ability. Alvaro Reese, we don't really need to talk about the guys that we know that are perform well. Look, Makai Lemon, look, the interview thing, look, I think that's something that does need to be talked about. Just look, I don't know the young man. I know he's a great football talent, but look, I don't like to read a book before. I don't like to read a book just looking at the cover, but that interview was a little wild, made me a little bit worried. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Like, look, am I still drafting this kid? Absolutely. Unless my man comes out a report where he got 10 bodies on him or something like that, I'm still gonna draft him. But I'm gonna still have a PO just looking after this man, just in case. Just in case, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think you got any.
I'm just joking.
I'm joking. Had no off-field trouble.
I'm joking, man. I'm just joking.
I just think he's super California now.
Nah. I know. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Nah, my man, I ain't worried about Makai Lemon, but it was funny though, just with the interview process and stuff like that. I'm be very curious to see. I would love to see his interview process when he starts meeting with teams one-on-one and just kind of seeing his characteristics and stuff like that. But I think overall, man, I think Makai Lemon.
Like I said, there's been reports of people saying that he did horrible.
Yeah, like honestly, I just think that you know how it goes with some of these front offices, man. If you don't really connect with them, then that could potentially drop you. So I think he could be a candidate to fall. If he does fall, I think it's idiotic. Me personally, I said unless my man comes out with a report where it's saying like, he's had a trouble past that we don't know about, then okay, we can have some discussions. But we all know personal characters. We know Marshawn Lynch's and stuff like that, man. We just know. And at the end of the day, Marshawn Lynch, he produced on the field. He didn't get in no trouble off the field. Like
he didn't.
We see Marshawn Lynch turn into the most lovable characters in all of football. So Makai Lemon could easily be that. So at the end of the day, we know who he is and what he does on that football field and the potential. Like I personally think he could be the best receiver out of all of them. Me personally, and it could clearly be that way. But overall, man, I think Ty Simpson really helped himself out too. Like, I know there's been a lot of conversations with him as far as like his play towards the end of the year. And you could put a lot of that towards just, him and, him dealing with injuries and all that stuff like that. And obviously we all know he has a low pitch count. Like he doesn't really have a lot of games underneath his belt. And we all know that's the number one thing with him. Now, with past history, could you be a little bit worried with him because of that low pitch count? Absolutely. We see it from time and time again that, from Anthony Richardson to a lot of these cats that, time does is needed for them to be successful. But at the end of the day, he could be put in a situation where he's not going to get drafted high. He could get put in a situation where he gets put with a decent program. Now, if it could be the Steelers or Minnesota Vikings or whatever the case may be, that could help him because most likely he will sit a year. But I think he did help. I think I saw some of his throws, especially some of them corner throws, man, look pretty decent to me. One guy, look, Robert Spears Jennings, look, I know all the measurables and stuff look great, but me personally, when I was watching him, his hips just do not communicate with his upper body. That's just me. Now, when he's running in a straight line, he looked amazing, but when he was doing the cone drills and all that stuff like that, I think a lot of that stuff needs to be cleaned up for me personally, just watching him. If he can't clean, I think he has plenty of time to do that, especially when he gets closer to his pro day here later in the month. But those are just some of the things I would love to see him, clean up with me personally. If he can do that, then I think sky's the limit with him, especially with some of the stats that he has. Kenyon Sadiq, I think he solidified himself being the top tight end in this draft. You already talked about Jeremiah Love. Again, a lot of these cats, I think we only can take with a grain of salt. Like at the end of the day, these guys aren't even playing in pads. You can look the tape on at the end of the day with a lot of these guys, whether they did good, whether they did bad. We all know nerves can come involved with a lot of these showcases, and there is a lot of pressure, especially with these cats that could be potentially like late round draft picks. You know what I mean? Like these are their livelihoods. So shout out to everybody who performed well. Anybody who didn't perform well, you still got time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You still got a whole 8 weeks before the process is actually complete. Just keep working on your craft, man. Keep going at it. Work at it every day, and the opportunity will be there. We've seen it time and time again where there's guys that come out of nowhere who end up being superstars in the NFL. So don't get deterred. Keep striving, keep grinding. You know what I mean? It's a small hiccup is nothing to stress about. So shout out to everybody who did participate. I am excited to see the rest of the process with these guys and actually get to know these guys' characters and stuff like that and personalities. I think it'll be good. So shout out to everybody who participated.
Also, another player I want to highlight is Caleb Banks. Man, that dude's a monster. And he did his thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I know a lot of people still say, turn on the tape, there's some inconsistencies. You're a Florida fan. You should probably know firsthand that there's greatness in there, but then there's some times where it's just like, damn, Caleb. So
no, yeah. Nah, for real. I feel you. Like, I think everybody at this stage of age, everybody's gonna have a little hole in their game. I know we have guys like Caleb Downs and Fernando Mendoza and stuff like that who do get high praise. But if you nitpick, I'm sure there are certain things that they do that they can work on as well. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not gonna poo-poo anything. Like, again, shout out to Brendan Thompson. I think he had like the fastest speed. Well, he had like a 4.26 or something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He looked very, very explosive. You know
also,
what I mean? So,
I want to give a shout out to Trey Lance's brother, Brendan.
Yeah, Bryce Lance. Yeah, Bryce Lance.
That kid. And look, I went to look up his note. Hey, 2024 man had 17 touchdowns.
Yeah, like
two back-to-back seasons over 1,000 yards. He had 17 touchdowns. 2024, he had 8, but still productive wide receiver. Yeah. I know it's a smaller school, but we know North Dakota State. They produce
talent, yeah, for sure. Like at the end of the day, we know he has the genetics, you know what I mean, with Trey Lance. Like I think we all know, like, unfortunately, Trey Lance's career hasn't amounted to what we thought it was. But again, I think that's another situation where he didn't have enough reps. He went into a situation with the San Francisco 49ers where he thought he would have time to sit, which he did sit for a little bit. He came in and he broke his leg, and it kind of just, deterred. And then honestly, before he broke his leg, he was actually progressing and he looked better as the games went on. So, and then it just kind of derailed his career. And we all know the 49ers, man, they were kind of in a win now mode, so they kind of had to move on from him. But we know the type of genetics that family has. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being like a mid-round pick. You know what I mean? Someone take a flyer on him, maybe 3rd, 4th round pick. He has the measurables. He has what you said. He had 17 touchdowns last year. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, the competition this, the competition that. At the end of the day, brother, you could see with your eyes if this man can actually perform in NFL level. You know what I mean? And give him a fair opportunity to do so. So he'll be on a team, and we'll see during preseason. But yeah, shout out to him as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's tap into some NFL or NBA news.
Yeah, man. So we got a couple things going on. First up, man, Steph Curry, man, he's been sidelined for 5 more games. I know there's been kind of like a lot of speculation about him and his potential future. Vincent Goodwill from ESPN. You've seen him. He's like the newer gentleman who's been on First Take as of late. He on the I believe it was on Brian Windhorst's podcast, stated that he thinks that next year could be the last year for Steph Curry. My question to you, sir, is with them keep pushing it back with his knee injury, seems like this is going to be a consistent thing. What's your mindset with this Warriors team? Obviously, we kind of talked about them a little bit and what you thought they should be doing. But with that news of his knee obviously not getting better, and then potential rumors of that potentially he could think about maybe retiring next year. What do you think the Warriors should be focusing on as they finish out the rest of this year?
They should have been blown this thing up. They should have tried to get something for Draymond, get him up out of there. They should have maybe see if they can get something for Steph Curry or whatever. But they should have been blew this thing up, man. Look, y'all won championships. Y'all held in regard as one of the better teams in this era, and y'all have the right. Even though y'all didn't win the championship, y'all beat the Bulls' regular season record. So y'all had a good run, but like all runs, they all come to an end, dog. And they just needed to blow this thing up. I think they waited too long to blow it up. I think they was still trying to chase a championship, and I just think age and attrition just got caught up to them. So I think they should have been blew it up. But here we are now, and if Steph does retire, they're gonna have to figure out the next step. We'll see what happens with Steve Kerr. Does Steve Kerr keep his job, or does he retire? Does he walk
This
away?
is last year of his deal, so
Yeah, so it might be looking like he might be leaving. Maybe he goes back into TV and does his thing there, and they go a different route, a younger coach, and try to go the youth route. You know what I'm saying? But they should have been blew this up a long time ago.
nah, yeah, I agree. Like, obviously, it'll be kind of hard to trade Steph Curry unless if he asks for it. But
Yeah.
as far as like the opportunity to trade Draymond Green, the countless years you had the opportunity to trade Jonathan Kuminga, who had a higher value at the time. I think they kind of squandered it a lot. You know what I mean? I just think it gets to the point in time, and hopefully Steph Curry doesn't retire. Like, obviously, it was just kind of like Vincent Goodwill's guessing, but. And then we also heard Steph Curry saying multiple times that he thinks he still has multiple years. But if this is going to be a cognitive knee injury issue, like you got to kind of weigh it. Like, what effect does that have on a Giannis Antetokounmpo if he decides he wants to get traded? Does that take the Golden State Warriors off his market because he's worried about that knee injury? LeBron James, he's becoming a free agent. He's been linked with the Warriors. Does that kind of hold him back from going to the Warriors in his final year and push him towards the Cleveland Cavaliers, or maybe signing with the Lakers on a lower money deal, which I think is still highly unlikely. But I think you got to take all those in consideration. You know what I mean? We got some young we got a draft coming up this year that I don't think they have an opportunity to even be a part of. But if you had the opportunity to trade Draymond Green for an actual first round pick, or even if you want to walk to Steph Curry and be like, look, I know you want to be here. I just don't see how we have a path to win a championship. I'm going to give you this decision. Like, if you would like to be moved to have an opportunity to win more championships, we will help you out in the best way and put you in a situation where you want to go and try. But at the same time, we're going to try to get enough capital to at least find a rebuild, because it's getting to the point where a point of no return with this Warriors team, that what are they going to do when Steph Curry is gone? You know what I mean? Have they even thought about the plan after Steph Curry's gone? And that's the problem with this Warriors team. It's like they're going to get back to what we've known the Warriors to be before Steph Curry and Mark Jackson and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green were there. They were known as this Warriors team that was terrible majority of the year. You had a great bounce year when Baron Davis was there and Steven Jackson and that team that built up a lot of excitement, that built up the eventual championship team that you got. But you're kind of heading backwards, you know what I mean? I think that's what this Warriors front office needs to do. I don't think Mike Dunleavy has done a great job. And, you pretty much traded your best young talent that you had in Jonathan Kuminga, and you got barely anything for him. So, I don't know. I just think there's something you got to look at for the future.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Bill Simmons, he came out on his podcast recently. He stated that there is a lot of rumblings that Jason Tatum could make his big rumored return this Friday. against the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, the Celtics are currently in second place. I did ask you about this before, but as we are nearing his return, my question to you is, what should be a healthy expectation for Jason Tatum for the rest of this year and the Celtics team adding Jason Tatum? And should they be really considered championship contenders?
Of course. I mean, the way Jaylen Brown is playing this year, and as a whole, they've been playing really good basketball. They've been one of the better teams in the East without Jason Tatum. So, like I stated in previous episodes, yeah, man, all he could do is add. If he's healthy enough to be out there, all he can do is add to it. Like I said, I would ease him in. I wouldn't give him too much on his plate. I would ease him in. Hell, I would even have him come off the bench. He might be the best six man coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
would probably have him coming off the bench, maybe ease him in. Maybe if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, you probably start him then because he'll have some run and some burn then. But outside of that, I'm having him come off the bench and hey man, you be the best six man ever. And we'll try to run this thing and get another championship. And they have a great opportunity. I think, of course, the Knicks are right there, but I think the only obstacle really in the East right now was the Detroit Pistons because they're balling out their minds right now. So, yeah, I think they have a great opportunity with adding Jason Tatum back to the mix.
Yeah, I think in the East they have an opportunity to come out in the East.
Yeah.
I still would put the New York Knicks as one of the top foes that they should be worried about.
Yeah.
I think the Knicks do match up well. At the same time, it's like we got to understand that Jason Tatum is coming back from an Achilles injury. It is remarkable that he has come back this fast, but at the same time, you don't want to jeopardize the rest of his career for one season. I get it. Jaylen Brown has had an MVP like year, but we also got to remember they don't really have great center depth. It's going to be kind of hard for them to go up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be kind of, I get it. It's going to be hard for them to go up, especially against the Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets. Like, it's going to be tough for them. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, I think we just want to see Jason Tatum get back to his former self. I wouldn't have, if I'm a Celtics fan, I would take anything I would get out of this season. I didn't have any expectations when I first came into the year. I'm not going to have expectations now, even though we are the number 2 seed and we do have potential. But I think going into next year, I think the Celtics should be looked at as probably one of the favorites in the Eastern Conference, depending on what the Knicks and Pistons were to do. But I think it's always great to see Jason Tatum back. Even though I'm a Laker fan and I despise the Celtics with every fiber in my being, I think it is a better league with Jason Tatum back in. So shout out to Jason Tatum. Hopefully he has a great rest of the year, man, and hopefully we do not see him have a catastrophic injury like that again. Couple more. James Harden, he's made some comments about obviously he got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He did break his thumb recently. He did come back in the Cavaliers win. But there have been some talks about him and his potential future. He talked about how much longer he wants to play. Quote saying, "I know it's coming soon, hopefully later than soon, but it's a reality. Everybody has to go through this at some point. Just trying to continue to keep my body in shape and play well. We'll see what happens in the next few years." Obviously, James Harden still has a couple more years to kind of change his kind of like perception as far as like his career. But my question to you, sir, is if everything were to remain same, doesn't win championships or anything like that, we know what great of a scorer he is. What would be the biggest remembrance to you of James Harden's career?
That he was one of the greatest scorers of all time, but couldn't get it done in crunch time. He could score with the best of them. He really can. He could shoot from anywhere on the floor, especially in his prime. He was making them crazy shots like Steph Curry too. You know what I'm saying? He was shooting from everywhere. But the problem is when crunch time came in the playoffs, he would fold. You wouldn't see that same guy that you saw in the regular season. And it's unfortunate, and he's not the only guy. There's countless of players who have folded under crunch time. And that's just, unfortunately, when the lights are brightest, he didn't step up to the plate. But he's still playing at a high level, even still to this day. But it's just he never could get over that hump to win a championship. And he's had countless of opportunities and teams where they were looked at like that's the best team. They should win the championship this year. He has an opportunity, and they just never came through when it mattered the most. So he'll be held in the highest grade. He'll be up there with like the Carmelo Anthony's. Great scores, they just couldn't get it done.
Who you think was the better scorer, Carmelo or James Harden?
That's difficult because they scored so differently.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Carmelo is back to, post up, his
Yeah.
back to the goal
Mhm.
turnaround jumper. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like Harden is the point guard, bring up the field, bring up the court, 3 points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shooting them threes up. So they were so different in scoring. Like
Mhm.
if it's me, I'm taking Carmelo. I think Carmelo gets a bad rap. That's just
He
me.
do.
But
He do. He do. He
I think
100%
he,
does.
I
Yeah.
think he gets a bad rap because he was in the same draft as LeBron and D
Dwayne
Wade
Wade.
and
Yeah.
all them guys. But I think he gets a bad rap. But I probably prefer Carmelo's game more because that's just the era I
What?
came from.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I prefer. But I respect James Harden. I think he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and no denying his talent. But like I said, it's just crunch time. He could never get it done.
No, I totally agree with you. I think James Harden will be considered one of the greatest isolation scorers of all time. Um, but I agree with you. There's just been so many moments where he had big opportunities to get his team over the hump, and he folded. And that's
Mhm.
just the way it is with so he still has time to change the perception. Like I think
Yeah,
this Cavs team could still have an opportunity. Obviously, they are dealing with injuries with Donovan Mitchell and stuff like that. They could potentially get LeBron James next year with that team, and then we got to see what's up. But I agree with you, man. I think at the end of the day, I think he's a Hall of Fame player. I think
yeah,
he's easily a Hall of Fame player. But there just will be a little small asterisk and a little small stain to his name that when it came to big clutch games, game sevens, game moments where he could have had opportunities to close. As Mark said, that Golden State Warriors series, they're up 3-2. You know what I mean? So and a lot of those game sevens, he doesn't show up. You know what I mean? Just puts on a dud show, and that from a player you would not expect that to come from. You expect more from him, and it's a shame, man. I think personally James Harden should have at least one championship right now in his career, and maybe one. Maybe he might get over it. You know what I mean? We got to see. But shout out to James though. Two more. DeAndre Ayton.
yeah.
He made some comments David Ming overheard after a brutal loss to the Orlando Magic, where he pretty much stated that he feels like the Lakers are turning him into Clint Capella. Obviously, that did spark a little bit of a talking point with Laker fans and other fans about. My question to you is. Do you think DeAndre Ayton will have an NBA career in the next 2 years?
Hmm. I don't know, man. That's a difficult one because you can't have too many big men, and when you're in a league, there's a scarcity of solid average big men.
Yeah.
He's always gonna be on the team. They sign him for just at least depth purposes, just to be in the way. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? In the post. Just
Yeah.
play defense or whatever. Like so I wouldn't be surprised if he does still have a job. He's just that aura that he had coming out is gone. That's gone away. He's not, we've been waiting for the potential to kind of, get to his potential and he's never reached it. You know what I'm saying? He's too inconsistent and it's just like yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on a team, but he's just not going to be a main factor anymore.
I just think I'm not gonna go on a long tangent here. I don't want to do that to my brother, man. I know we want to keep this thing pushing. I know we got a lot of great topics coming up, but
Yeah, do your
I'm
thing.
gonna say this, man. Read the room, dog. Read the room, brother. Read the room. That's like at the end of the day, brother. You came in this year on the fence of even having an opportunity to get a job. Like no one wanted to trade for you, and you became a buyout candidate. You are a first round pick. You should be a lot better than what you are. You have flashes where you show greatness in what you can be, but you just don't have the fire. You don't have the mental fortitude. At the end of the day, you should want to be Clint Capella. I think Shaq stated it very, very well the other day, where if you just hustle alone, you should automatically get 18 points. And then whatever else, I'm like, you averaging 18 and 10 with like 2, 3 assists and maybe a block. I think any team would take that in a heartbeat.
Of course.
But you consistently keep wanting to be like Victor Wembanyama. You consistently think you're going to become Nikola Jokic. You think you're going to be a Karl Anthony Towns. You think you're going to be a Shaquille O'Neal. You think you're going to be a Hakeem Olajuwon. Brother, you are not that. You have not shown that. You haven't even earned that. especially on a team with LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic. What in the world makes you think you're going to get 20 to 25 touches a game? Now, if you show that you deserve 20 touches a game, then maybe Luka Doncic would give that to you. LeBron James would give that to you. Austin Reeves would give that to you. But you don't play defense. You play half-heartedly. You show like you don't care. Like, I've been over this DeAndre Ayton experiment since probably Christmas. But, my brother, you are getting close to being out of the league permanently. Now, I do agree with Cris to a certain extent that there is a fiending for center talent, big men talent, because there's not a lot of great talent out there. Now, we'll see with these upcoming drafts that are coming in internationally and college. There are a lot of great young athletic centers that could be coming in this league that could easily phase you out. But these next year or two, obviously, you're not going to be on the Lakers team next year. That's done. It's a wrap. You're not going to be on this team. But you need to show tape that there are other squads that could use you. Now, your starter days are probably done. At best, you could be a backup center in this moment in time. But, brother, you were the number one pick. And this is what you do? You knew your career's on the line, and yet you still perform like you don't care. Like, I don't know. It just says a lot about you. And brother, I can't wait for you to get out of a Lakers jersey. And last but not least, Bleacher Report. I thought this was interesting. Bleacher Report made a top 5 list of NBA players who are under the most pressure approaching the playoffs. At number 5, they have Karl Anthony Towns. Number 4, they have Amen Thompson. Number 3, they have Evan Mobley. Number 2, they have Stephon Castle. And then number 1, they have Paolo Banchero. Now, I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'm not going to ask you for your top 5, but give me some of the names, or if you agree with this list, you can say that too. But give me some names that weren't on this list that you think have the most pressure leading up to the playoffs and obviously in the playoffs.
Well, I'm going to go with the MVP candidate, Cade Cunningham. I think he has immense pressure. Like, you're an MVP candidate, bro, and your team is number 1 in the East. Like, we're looking at you coming out the East this year, and I know you got, like I said, you got the Knicks and you got Celtics on your heels, but you've been playing really good ball this year, and I think there's pressure. Now we're here. Like, how many years he's been in the league? Like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So we at the time now. You reaching your prime, brother. We need to see fruition of your work. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's up there. I know they're not like championship contenders, but Donovan Mitchell.
No, that's a great name. I was gonna bring him up. That's a great name. Yeah, that's a great name. Yeah, it's an amazing name.
They traded for you, brother. Now look, you've been balling, you've been doing your thing, but they brought you to Cleveland to win championships, bro. Mm-hmm. And in the playoffs, you've had your good games, but you've had some games where you kind of teeter-totter too. So we need, and that was kind of your problem with Utah too when you was with the Jazz. So I think he has immense pressure too going into the playoffs. At least get to the Eastern Conference Finals, brother.
Yeah. I think there's a couple players on that Cavs team. You got Evan Mobley. Yeah. We just talked about James Harden. James Harden too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's see on the West. I guess you could. Well, he's won a championship, but I'm always going to put Kevin Durant up there because he's got pressure because they want him to do it without the Golden State. Because everybody, even though it's kind of messed up, but they kind of put an asterisk by the championship. Golden State. No, that's they put an asterisk by it. They want to see Kevin Durant do it by do it on his own. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy. He's the leader of that team. Take him to the championship. So I would say Kevin Durant. I think that what I'm saying. Like I said, you got a championship, but still, I think that there's immense pressure you going into the playoffs this year to at least get to the Western Conference Finals, sir. Yeah. Like, that's what they traded for you for. Yeah. So I think the Amen Thomas, that kind of I don't know about that one.
I understand it in a sense is because you want to see the development of him. And there's a lot of pressure on him. I think he hasn't had the year that a lot of people expected. like people expected him to be the best two-way player in the game. You know what I mean? From what we've seen. So I do agree with that. I do agree with you with Kevin Durant. Another name I would probably and honestly I do agree with Paolo Banchero. The only one I don't agree on this list is Stephon Castle. Like I don't understand why he has pressure on him. I think he's performed very well. He's looked like the best perimeter defender in the league, and I think he's fine. Karl Anthony Towns, like I get it, I understand it. New York Knicks have a lot of pressure. Me personally, I think he's not a player, but I would say Mike Woodson has a lot of pressure on him because of you got rid of Thibodeau, and then you involved yourself. Now, obviously, you haven't won anything as far as like a head coach. There's been a lot of questions about you. Like you had great years with the Sacramento Kings, you had great years with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but you never got them over the hump. It was always another coach that ended up Ty Lue was the reason why they got over the hump and won the championship. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him. I'm not Mike Woodson. I mean Mike Brown. A name that I think has a lot of pressure on him is Austin Reeves. I think Austin Reeves has a lot of pressure on him this year because, number one, he's going into a big year for him, especially with this offseason with a big-time contract. Me personally, I love Austin Reeves, but there's a lot of questions with him when it comes to the postseason. When you looked at the postseason last year, and I get it, he was dealing with the injury, but at the same sense, we've seen it a little bit here and there. Number one, there's a lot of questions with him defensively. Do you want to pay a player 30, 40, maybe even $50 million a year for a player who is literally sought after in the defensively, especially when you pair him with Luka Doncic? Is that the backcourt you want for the future? Number two is, it's been a lot of moments in big games where he does get pushed off his spot. When you look at the playoffs, a lot of the times he can never get to a spot. Like he struggled to get there when you had the likes of a Jaden McDaniels or a Lou Dort or a Cason Wallace that were easily able to dictate where they wanted him to go instead of him being able to get to the spots where he needed to be. I think that's a big question that he needs to work on, that I need to see personally as a Laker fan for me to even be comfortable with giving him $30+ million. Because if he cannot show me that in the playoffs, especially this year, I personally would consider trading. I already think that I would trade him for Giannis. If Giannis is saying I want to come to the Lakers, I would put Austin Reeves in the deal in a heartbeat. I would. I love Austin Reeves. I know he's came out of nowhere from a player from Arkansas to being this elite talent that we've seen, an elite scorer. But at the same time, there's levels to the playoffs. And if you can't match those levels, if you got not simplistic players, but if you got players that aren't technically on your level as a scorer, but they can get you off your spots, you can't even dictate what you want to be, I think that's a huge problem. And me personally, I just think we can go a different route as a Laker fan. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him as well. Paolo Banchero, I totally agree on this list. He's number one. I'm not mad because of the projective ways we viewed Paolo Banchero to take this team to Paolo Banchero is the main reason why they gave up all those first round picks for Desmond Bane. And he has not done anything to show. He should be on MVP status. He should be up there with Cade Cunningham. He should be up there with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He should be up there with Nikola Jokic's and Giannis Antetokounmpo's. He was projected to be that. And he looked like he has been, I don't know what's happened to Paolo. So I think he has a lot of pressure with him, especially with all the assets that they used this offseason. So yeah, I think those are just a couple names that should be on the watch. I'm very excited what happens though.
Should Jalen Brunson be on this list?
Look, again, I know there's a lot of pressure on the New York Knicks to perform, but I never had an instance where Jalen Brunson was the problem. Now, obviously, you could look at his size, and obviously some people say he's a defensive liability. I get that, but that's what you have OG Anunoby for. That's what you have Mikal Bridges for. That's what you have Josh Hart for. That's what you have. You have your key wing defenders. You have three of the best. You probably have three of the top 6-7 best perimeter defenders in the league. Like Jalen Brunson is your problem. Jalen Brunson is supposed to be your scorer that gets you over to the promised land, and he's done nothing but that. A lot of the issues have come from Karl Anthony Towns being inconsistent, Mikal Bridges being inconsistent. Honestly, those two. I think OG has been one of the more consistent ones, and Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart has his moments where he doesn't show up. So me personally, I personally wouldn't put Jalen Brunson on that list. Obviously, you want to see him take this team over the top with the New York Knicks, but I think there's more questions around him than him. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But is there anybody else? I I totally agree with you on Kevin Durant. I think it's unfair, but there's going to be pressure on him. Is there anybody else? I don't think there's no pressure on the Spurs. I don't think there's no pressure on the Thunder.
No, they finally won one. So
the Celtics, I'm not giving no pressure. Cade and the Pistons. I think it's kind of funny because I don't think anybody had them being the number 1 seed. So am I going to put pressure on them? I don't know. Like, we'll see. I think as the season going, I think they put pressure on themselves that's just well deserved because they've just shown that they've been one of the best teams in the East for sure. Hell, not just in the East. I don't want to be disrespectful, just in the NBA completely. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at it. I won't put it as like dire pressure like some of the rest of these guys, but I'll put a little pressure. Like, I'm going to see what's up, but I think they're heading in the right direction though. So, and then there's always pressure on the Bucks. There's always pressure on the Bucks. You got pressure on the Heat with them and some of their superstar talent. Bam Adebayo, who's came out and said that he's tired of being in the play-in. You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, who he's kind of waffling back and forth whether he wants to get traded. But I think there's some of the things, but I think we all know. About that though. So
for sure. All right, man. Take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. Its power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris and Mall to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris and Mall to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
All right, man. Let's talk a little NFL. Some news has been happening today. David Montgomery, he has been officially traded to the Houston Texans. First, it was reported a 5th-round pick. Now it's been bumped up to a 4th-round pick. I know they drafted also they sent the offensive lineman in the draft. I mean, in the package, and also got a 2027 7th-round pick. So the Texans jumping on that, trying to shore up their running back game. Joe Mixon, he had the injury, the leg injury last year that was kind of weird, and he couldn't really get back. And then you had Nick Chubbs. He's a shell of himself. He's not what he used to after that horrible leg injury he had. Woody Marks is fine, but he was a rookie, and he's more so known for catching out of the backfield rather than running in between the tackles. So they shore up that and get somebody who's been very highly productive for the Detroit Lions, and right now was be slotted in at running back 1, and still doesn't deter you from possibly taking a running back in the draft either. So what are your thoughts on this move?
Obviously we've heard a lot of rumblings about potential David Montgomery. I think we just talked about this last week of the potential of David Montgomery being traded. Now, I think this is a great look for the Houston Texans. Obviously I think a key running game was definitely missed. Obviously, I don't know what that means for what's my man's name who got hurt?
Joe Mixon.
Yeah, Joe Mixon. I don't know what that means for Joe and that foot injury. Maybe they just know something where that foot is just not healing the way they thought it would be. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. I think that could potentially mean that Joe Mixon would be on a new team. But I agree with you. I think obviously this also means that I think Jahmyr Gibbs is about to get a huge deal that's coming up probably this offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the running back market for the drafts, or maybe in free agency, maybe get somebody that could just compensate with him, because obviously Jahmyr Gibbs is amazing. But they also have had situations where they like another running back, especially in goal line situations. And I think David Montgomery was one of the bigger factors in that. And then obviously just to keep Judge Jahmyr Gibbs healthier as the season goes on, something like that. So, but I think it's great for David Montgomery. I think he finally is going to get the opportunity to be a lead back, starting back. Now we got to see what they do. Obviously, it still all comes down to what CJ Stroud can do and be better at coming next year. But I think this does help him because they didn't have an inconsistency running game. Obviously, I think they still will have Woody Marks, so I think that'll be a good 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
But I think David Montgomery, I don't know. That's a good question. Is Woody Marks or David Montgomery? Who would be the technically lead back? Would it still be Woody Marks or would David Montgomery be the lead back?
I'm rolling with Dave Montgomery.
If
we playing football tomorrow, he's RB1. I trust him.
I mean personally, I would say that too. Even though I'm not disrespecting Woody Marks, but
No.
I think at the end of the day, I think David Montgomery has earned the right to be running back one.
Yeah. For sure. The Texans have been busy too. Now, this move I really don't understand, but they traded away their right tackle Titus Howard to the Browns. He also got an extension, 3 years, $63 million extension. We all know, and they also exchanged it for a 5th round pick. What are your overall thoughts on this? I know offensive line has always been the problem. For the Texans, especially in CJ Stroud, since his second year in the league, going up to last year, they've always had offensive line problems. And to trade away their right tackle is kind of head scratching unless they're going to go in the draft and possibly get one.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe there's somebody in free agency or the draft that they really like that they're going to try to go after. That's the only reason why I think they do this. And then me personally, it's like, all right, if you're going to trade, to me, I wouldn't even say free agency. I think it leads more towards the draft, me personally, you know what I mean? Because why would you trade one of your right tackles just to give somebody more money? You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense and hit your cap. So honestly, maybe they really like somebody that's in this draft that they are going to have their eyes set on in the first round. And if that's the case, like, look, you got to put faith in your GM. Now, would I would have done it? No, I think just adding depth to the O-line would have been and keeping what you got. But I don't know. Maybe they see something that we don't see that they didn't like from the right tackle, and maybe they were like, all right, we can clip those wings and go a different direction. So
maybe they didn't want to pay him. Maybe he wants an extension. They didn't want to pay him. So
Debo not gonna come back to the Commanders, huh?
Nope. Speaking of the Commanders, they also informed Marshawn Lattimore that they will not be bringing him back. They're going to release him. You can save like $18.3 million against the cap. What are your overall thoughts on Marshawn Lattimore's time with the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, I'll actually speak on him and Debo since I just read that. As far as like Marshawn Lattimore, I'm not surprised, man. Like Marshawn Lattimore left a lot to be desired. You know what I mean? That back end of that defense was probably some of the most horrific stuff I've seen. You know what I mean? Like it was just that bad. And Marshawn Lattimore didn't do anything to disprove anything. Like obviously when that trade first happened, like I had a little bit of hope. Like obviously I know he was dealing with some injuries, but at the same time I still had a high grade on Marshawn Lattimore as a cornerback. But you could just tell, I don't know. I just think maybe he just lost a step. Maybe he just dealt with so many injuries that he just can't return back to the form that we thought he would be. Or it could be a confidence thing. I don't know what it is, but I'm not surprised. As far as Debo, I am a little surprised about that. I thought Debo might have stayed, but maybe it could be a contract issue thing. Maybe it could be something where maybe they could save a lot of more money on the cap. Obviously, you have some young receiving talent. Maybe this puts them in the market for another receiver. Maybe this could be a Jordan Tyson. Maybe this could be a Mekhi Lemon, if depending on the situation. Because where are the Commanders right now in the draft order? Where are they at?
They picked seventh.
So maybe this could be a Cardinal Tate situation, depending. Let's see if he drops or whatever. But I think this just puts them in the market for a wide receiver, even though I think they need defensive players. But I think it opens it up.
Yeah, for sure. The Vikings have informed Aaron Jones and defensive tackle Javon Hargrave that they will be either traded or released. I think they're going to get cut. They could save $29.45 million in cap space if they let those two players go. Do you think that there's still a market out there for Aaron Jones?
I don't know. It just depends, I think, on the situation. I just think that we all know how they view running backs, and with some of the younger guys that are coming in this year, potentially next year, and then obviously free agency with Kenneth Walker, Brees. I know they said they're going to keep Brees Hall, but maybe there could be a trade that still could be had. You still got Travis Etienne. Like you still got some guys that are out there. Isaiah Pacheco. You know what I mean? Somebody might have Tyler Algier.
Rico Dowdle,
Rico Dowdle. So I think it's gonna be tough for Aaron Jones. I just think it has to be the right fit, maybe like more of a mentorship type of role. Like I think it's not like Aaron Jones is like a disliked player. Like maybe there could be an opportunity that he could go. Maybe it could be a Pittsburgh Steelers situation where Aaron Rodgers maybe rejoin with him, maybe add some depth to that running back core, because obviously they've had running back issues as well. So if they don't get none of those big guys, maybe Aaron Jones can just fit in there in a sense. So I think there's still an opportunity. I just think it's going to be like a situation where I think he's just going to have to wait. You know what I mean? He's going to have to let the dust kind of clear and settle and just kind of pick his spots. And I think his best situation would be to rejoin Mike McCarthy and rejoin Aaron Rodgers. There'll be some familiarity there. And obviously he wouldn't be the lead back, but you pair him up with a Warren or something like that. I think it could work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. And maybe he can be a mentor for Caleb, what's his name? Caleb Johnson that they drafted last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
he didn't have too great.
They have kind of like similar games to an extent. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So, he didn't have too great of a season last year, so maybe he could help him out. You put him in there with a veteran, even though Gainwell is a veteran, but.
Be ready, or sorry to cut you off, or be ready for an injury, because we already know during the season, you know what I mean? It could be a top contending team that loses one of their top running backs, and, Aaron Jones, hey, we need you for a couple weeks to see if you can finish it up. It could be a situation like that. So I don't think his career is done. If he wants to play, I think they could find something for him for sure.
I feel the same way about Javon Hargrave. I think, anybody, big defensive tackle in the middle, definitely somebody could pick him up and put him on their defensive line. So, sure. You never have too many of those. I know he's an older player, but,
I think he still produces to a degree. I wouldn't mind him on the Raiders, just to add some depth to it. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's pretty much it for news right now. I know that I'm hearing that Malik Willis might be going to the Cardinals, which makes sense.
Kyle Murray, they say he's officially going to either get cut or traded, and there's a lot of rumors about him. Too. Yeah, Tua. Like I think a lot of those guys. I think I forgot who was kind of talking. He said pretty much by around, I think they said around like March 9th, 10th, 11th, around there, that you could potentially see a lot of these quarterbacks starting to get cut. Kyle Murray, I think everybody's been kind of linking him to the New York Jets. What's your thoughts with that?
He'd be, you see what you got in him. If he can raise the floor, of the quarterback room, then you hit. You know what I'm saying? If he can't, you know what I'm saying, then 2027 you get you can still get your quarterback in 2027, but I do think that Kyler Murray can raise the floor to your quarterback room for sure. Yeah, he'll probably be the best thing you've had in a long time.
No, absolutely. And my thing is, if you're the New York Jets, and look, would you want to sign Kyler Murray? I don't know. It's like you kind of played all your cards towards the 2027 draft. And I think if you sign Kyler Murray, I just think that's just going to make it harder for you to get a top pick. You know what I mean? Now, I get it. You have the assets to trade up. But
here's the thing, though. I hear you about the 2027 draft. But
nothing's guaranteed. I know.
But I think Aaron Glenn wants to make it to
I know he does. I know he does. We know how they do black coaches. Yeah. They got to do black coaches.
They got to short at least.
I'm not mad. I'm not
saying they got to make the playoffs, but at least if they can be like a 6-7 win team to show a little progression, maybe it'd be like, all right, Aaron, you show some progression. We're going to take you into 2027.
I'm not just saying, like, I think Kyle Murray, like, look, I get it. Like, people have this perception like Kyle Murray's this bad quarterback, but people got to remember, Kyle Murray had this Arizona team win like 8 games in a row in the beginning of the season. They were like I think they were number one seeds halfway through the year a couple times in his career with the Arizona Cardinals. So he's not a bad quarterback. I just think that the confidence levels within that organization, we see it, man. It's just not a good ran organization currently right now. You know what I mean? But look, let's say they do sign Kyle Murray. And the Jets do really well. You have a lot of top picks, so you could just add talent around him. You know what I mean? You could just use that, pay Kyle Murray, and then you can use all those draft picks to get, maybe a Jeremiah Smith, and maybe add depth to that receiver, maybe add depth to the defensive and offensive lines and stuff like that. Maybe there could be a great running back that could be coming out, the following year if you decide you want to trade Breece Hall or whatever the case may be, or you don't want to pay him. You have options, so I get it. You kind of leave the options open, so I'm not mad. Obviously, I don't know if you want to talk about Wan'Dale Robinson and Cordell Flott. They're obviously not going to be retained by the Giants. So, do you think that how well of a market those two gentlemen should have?
I think Wan'Dale Robinson definitely will definitely have a market. He's a fast, speedy, a wide receiver out the slot. Do I think he's a number one? No, he's a fringe number two, maybe number three wide receiver. But on the right situation, like I think Pittsburgh Steelers could use him.
Yeah,
they need that type of speed, a guy who can, threading down the field, the guy who could just make plays, a playmaker. I think Wan'Dale Robinson is a really good player. So anybody who needs a little bit more athleticism on their team, I think that he could definitely help out on that team. So yeah, I think Wan'Dale Robinson has a market. I'm also hearing that the Giants might be in the play for a running back. And they might be looking at Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I saw reports saying that Harbaugh, they could be making some big changes to this roster. You know what I mean? To kind of fit more of his style. Like, what do you think that could mean? Do you think that could mean like maybe trading one of their defensive linemen or?
Kayvon Thibodeau, he's on the trading block. He's on the trading block, and they said they're looking for a day 3 pick, so 5th, which. Hey, Kansas City, man, go throw that 5th at
for Thibodeau.
Yeah,
I would throw a 4th or a 5th for Thibodeau. I ain't gonna say no to that. Like, homie, it's not terrible. You know what I'm saying?
KC, go get Tibbs for the 5th. John and Andy Reid, they got a relationship. They close. Go ahead, work that out.
So who would you have as the top candidates for Thibodeau services for a trade? Like, who could you potentially see?
Any contending team, definitely like the Bengals.
Bengals should swing all out for everybody at this point. You know what I mean?
Bengals,
Detroit Lions, the Commanders,
on the other side.
49ers,
Buffalo pass rush.
Buffalo. And you know what? Thibodeau feels like a Buffalo guy.
Yeah.
He kind of gives me like, I'm not saying he's Von Miller. He's not close to being Von Miller, but he kind of does a little something, nothing crazy. You know what I mean? He can kind of fit that little mode.
Yeah.
My Raiders, I could see maybe my Raiders, you know what I mean, depending on the situation and what they want to do.
They're not going to
Seahawks, they've been in rumors with Trey Henderson, so I think Thibodeau would probably be there too. I think the Chicago Bears as well.
Yeah, Chargers. That's a good one.
I want to ask you. Jerry Jones said he's going to spend all his money this all season. Do you believe that?
Unless he's going to spend all that money on George Pickens. That's what he's going to spend it on.
Why tag him then? Just get the deal done.
Well, you tag them so they can't leave.
I get it, but what we waiting on?
It is what it is.
I think if the Cowboys do things right, I think they could be championship contenders. I think they honestly could be. I think they could be champions if they do things right.
Yeah. Also, the Chiefs, they were for Jawan Taylor that your services are no longer needed. They saved $20 million against the cap, which will put them over, at the limit, over the cap where they need to be to open up the league year. I expect them to make some more moves, some more restructure, some more cuts. Maybe Drew Tranquil gets cut. I can see Noah Gray possibly getting cut. And then, converting some money over Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, maybe in Chris Jones. I know they heard there might be a little soft restructure there. Just to get a little bit more money, because I do think that Brett Veach and them, they want to have some money to spend in free agency. I think they want to go heavy on a running back. I think they do want to get another veteran defensive lineman in here, maybe even a wide receiver with the Rashee Rice news.
What happened with Rashee Rice?
Well, it's just so much uncertainty. There's word.
He got in trouble again.
Well, no, with the whole situation with his girl, baby mama, and it's alleged, but still, it's a civil suit. You don't know what the NFL. He's the second offender.
point in time where you just got to cut bait, man. You just got to
Roger
cut bait, bro.
Roger Goodell might be like, yeah, 10 games. And then it's like, damn. So
Yeah, because he still hasn't even served his suspension yet, has he?
no, he served it last year.
Oh yeah, he did.
served
Yeah,
6
he did.
games.
He got
6
six. Yeah,
games.
he got 6. Yeah.
And Roger wanted more, so they settled on 6. So if he wanted more last year, you know he gonna get his ass.
Is there anything on the Trent McDuffie circuit?
Supposedly Brett Veach and them have met, or they're talking to him. So I don't know. We're gonna know soon. We're gonna know soon.
When do they have to make a decision by?
They don't have to. Well, they don't have to. He signed
to.
he's still under contract. He signed his 5th-year option. So regardless, they can keep him and be like, you play on your 5th-year option.
Yeah.
We'll let your ass go or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, or they could franchise tag him next year. You know what I'm saying? So they still have kind of control of the cards and what they do with Trent McDuffie. But I'm pretty sure they want to try to get a deal done. It's just how much.
Like a trade or an actual deal?
A deal. I think they want to try to extend him, but if they can't meet on the number that they want, then I could see, news coming out that he's getting traded.
What's the number that you've been hearing that he wants?
Weirdly, I've heard Patrick Surtain money, and Surtain he's not making top of the market money. Like he's only making 20. He's only making $24 million a year.
Who's the highest paid cornerback right now? Is it
Derek Stingley?
Derek Stingley? How much he getting?
30.5.
30.5. Well, maybe he knows that Patrick Surtain about to get a new deal or something.
Maybe. They
could be boys. Maybe he knows, like, I'm about to get this $33 million deal.
And I'm mad at Trent because, look, Trent I got Super Bowls. I got all pros on my record. You know what I'm saying? So
he deserves to get paid. He deserves to get paid.
Hey, get your bread. I want top of the market money, just like the rest of these guys.
Yeah, I ain't mad.
So I don't know where Brett Veach is head. I think Brett Veach is always, that first year. You know what I'm saying? We want to lower your cap number on the first year, and then it upticks every other year. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where the years, 3-year, 4-year, you know what I'm saying? That's always a discrepancy too when it comes to the deals. When it comes from the Chiefs, is some guys want 3 years because by the time my 3rd year, I'm only 27, 28. I can go get a new deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it probably is going to be. And then the whole Brett Veach doesn't sign cornerbacks. He doesn't re-sign his corners, which I think that I hear you, but a lot of like L'Jarius Sneed, let's just call it what it is. His knee was busted, and
we see that now. Yeah.
They knew that. They sold Tennessee a lemon. Hey, here you go. Yeah, his knee is fine. It wasn't. And they weren't about to pay him. And plus, he was older. Trent's 25. Like, what's his name was 27, 28. So that makes a difference. So, but we also are, Brett Veach and them are very good at finding corners, and we're seeing in this DB draft that there's a lot of good corners coming out this year. Like, it's not been talked about.
It's actually been a sneaky good cornerback viewing as far as like the combine. So. You know what I mean? So,
but there's some guys out there that they can get, and there's a lot of tall, athletic. So, and that's what they like. That's what Spags like. 6 foot, 6'1". Trent was kind of an anomaly because, well, first of all, they didn't even think he was going to be there at the spot that they picked him at. So when they saw it, it was like, shit, we got to take this guy. We have to. So, but and then it's also this discourse of does Trent want to play in a nickel where he's elite at? A lot of those guys, they want to play on the outside. That's where you get paid at. That's where you become a top tier corner. They want to play on them. Not to say he can't play on the outside, but the biggest weakness of him is, playing against taller guys. You know what I'm saying? He's 5'10", 5'11". You know what I'm saying? So when he plays against those 6'2", 6'3" guys, he has a little trouble with those guys. So, but we'll see, man. You hear any news about Max Crosby?
Obviously, Albert Breer, he made some comments that he thinks a trade could happen this week. Here's hearing rumors about maybe the Cowboys, Bears, Bills, Patriots.
Got trade to the Bills. I'll never forget.
The thing is that there are rumors that we are interested in Trayvon Ummons from the linebacker from the Bears. So a lot of people are kind of linking that. I think those would be like two separate deals. But I've heard another thing where the Patriots have the best deal. But a lot of our a lot of the beat reporters that are closer to the Raiders, they still think that it's a situation where the Raiders are only going to trade Max Crosby if it's a deal that they want. You know what I mean? It's going to have to be something to blow them out the water. I don't think they're pressured to trade Max Crosby because there's been a lot. So I think even Jeremy Fowler even stated that Max Crosby is not going to come out and say, I want to be traded. He's gonna go. He's kind of doing the Giannis Antetokounmpo thing right now, where he's like, he's not happy, but at the same time, he's very loyal and he doesn't want to have that perception like he's quitting on the Raiders because he values Raider fans. You know what I mean? I have nothing against you. You've heard what I said about Max Crosby. I would not be mad either way with Max Crosby. If he wants to stay, I'll be hella happy. If he wants to move on and get traded to a situation where he feels like he'll have a better chance in this upcoming year and the years after that to win a Super Bowl, I'm not mad at him either. I think he's earned that right. I think he's done nothing but be one of the best Raider players of all time. He's been very respectful of the fans and obviously trying to be very sensitive to the whole situation because he knows how much he's valued amongst his fan base. So I think it has to be a situation. And then obviously he has great relationships with the defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard. He has a great relationship with Mark Davis. He's came out and even said that. So again, I just think it has to be a situation where maybe they're talking on the back end where he's like, I'm open to being traded. You know what I mean? If you guys get something that can help this team, because I think Max Crosby be the kind of guy like, look, I want to be traded, but at the same time, I don't want to leave y'all with nothing. You know what I mean? Like I still love this organization. I still love this fan base, but I know my time needs to go somewhere else. But at the same time, if this is going to happen, I want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to get assets and be able to build this team the way that you guys see fit, even without me. I know it's going to be tough to replace me because I am Max Crosby, and it's hard to replace players like that. But at the end of the day, it has to be right. So I just think everything has to be right. Do I think a trade happens this week? I don't think so. Me personally, I don't think so. If it does, it does. Maybe it's just that the team was like, you know what? We want Max. Because a lot of assumption is that a lot of these teams going to have to start spending their salary cap here soon with free agency opening up. So maybe they want to kind of get this trade done with Max, and then maybe give him an extension because he's going to probably get an extension with a trade because I don't think he has any guaranteed money left on his deal currently or something like that. So it'll have to be a situation like that. So I guess in a sense it makes sense that a trade will have to get done because I think free agency begins next week, right?
Yeah, next Monday.
Next Monday. So it would have to start. It would have to be this week in a sense, you know what I mean? So people know how much they're going to have to give up in their salary cap to sign Max Crosby. So, and obviously all the other assets that would have to come across that. So I think this will be an interesting week for Raider fans and for the Max Crosby situation. I think I'll say this, thinking about it, I think if he doesn't get traded by now, I don't think he gets traded. I think he'll just kind of sit back. I think the next time you might hear anything is maybe the drafts, but even then, I think he'll probably most likely stay. So I think this will be an interesting week to see what happens. But from a lot of insiders closer to the team, they think it'll have to be something where the Raiders would have to really just be like, yo, this is the deal we can't refuse. We're gonna have to take this. Where it's like 2 ones and a player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I always found it funny that, so there was a lot of, sorry to keep going, but I always found it funny that, there were certain NFL insiders that said that Max Crosby wouldn't garner anything like Micah Parsons. And I get it that he is an older player compared to Micah Parsons. But in a sense, I think Max Crosby is a way better player than Micah Parsons. No disrespect to Micah, but I think he's just a better closer than Micah consistently. And then on top of that, just the demand for Max Crosby. You see the demand. Like you have an easily 6 to 7 playoff teams that view Max Crosby as being this kind of solidifier that can get them a Super Bowl. So if you got to throw in another first round pick, why wouldn't you? If you think he's going to be the guy to get you over the hump, that makes your defense legit. Like if I'm the Bills, I get it. I don't want to give up another first round pick, but my team is already solidified for the next couple years. Like Josh Allen isn't getting us a top tier first round pick anytime soon. So why not let me just throw in another first? Like, who cares? It's going to be a late first anyway. And then I get Max Crosby. We'll throw in another player, whether it's a defensive player, offensive lineman, receiver, whatever the case may be. If you want to throw in the Keon Coleman, whatever the case may be, then, you can do that. You know what I mean? I just found it hard to believe that the Raiders couldn't get that. You know what I mean? That's the way everything's kind of playing out. So, but we'll see. I think this is going to be a big week for that.
For sure. All right, man. Let's do our BetUS Surefire picks. What you got?
So for tonight, I got little 3 spot. I got the Clippers -1 against the Warriors. One day we will keep tabs of these. I don't know when we're gonna do it, but one day we will. We would talk about this shit for like a month, but we still haven't done it yet, so we apologize. I got Clippers -1 against the Warriors. Tonight we got a big college basketball game, Arizona versus Iowa State. I got Arizona -7.5. I just think Arizona's one of the best teams in the nation. Iowa State got a really good squad, but I just think there's just levels to it. And then I got Duke -9.5 against North Carolina.
Yeah, I got the Celtics -7.5 over the Bucks. I got the Denver Nuggets 11.5 over the Jazz.
Oh, Giannis is back too. Just let you know.
Oh, okay, that's right. And I got Duke -9.5 over NC State.
Sure.
If you go to any of our social media platforms, you'll see the BetUS link. Go ahead and click on it. First-time users only. You go ahead and sign up. Put the promo code JOIN125. You get 125% sign-in bonus plus 10% gambler's insurance. That's 3 risk-free bets on your first 3 deposits of $100 up to $5,000. So that means if you bet $100 on your first 3 deposits and you lose your bets, you still keep your money. So you can go over there and win some money, or you can keep your money. So go ahead, sign up. Tell them Cris Lamar sent you.
Mm-hmm.
That does it for our BetUS Surefire picks.
And I agree, Mark. I think the Rams are a team. They're definitely one of the teams.
I think the Rams want corners, man.
They do, but I think McVay loves him some Crosby though.
He probably does. All right, man. Let's do our best NFL cornerbacks and safeties.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead.
What you want to start at? Corners or safeties?
Let's do corners.
All right, corners. So at number 5, look, I know it's tough. I know my man Cris is gonna be a little upset. Trent McDuffie was kind of like my he's the one that kind of got left off the list. But he easily could be in the top 5. But number 5, I got Quinyon Mitchell. I think Quinyon Mitchell is one of the better cornerbacks, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I had number 5. Number 4, I have Christian Gonzalez. We saw what he's capable of. The only worries about Christian Gonzalez that I do have is that just injury problems with Christian Gonzalez. But overall, I think he's an elite corner. Number 3, I still got Sauce, man. I know Sauce, I know he's been on some bad teams, but statistically, he's still one of the better cornerbacks in the league. And I still have him in high regards. Number 2, I got Derek Stingley Jr. We saw what he does, and we know how great that defense is. And he's one of the main cogs in why the Houston Texans have one of the best defenses in the league. And then number 1, I went with Patrick Surtain. I think Patrick Surtain is still the best corner in the league currently right now.
For sure. Number 5, I'm gonna roll with Trent McDuffie. I think he's still the best out of all of them, the nickel corner out of all of them, and he still can play outside. So I'm still gonna put Trent right there. I'm gonna put Christian Gonzalez at number 4. I think he showed why he's one of the better corners. He was single-handedly keeping that New England team in the game when they needed him the most. He stopped a Rashid Shaheed touchdown that would have went yard if he had caught that ball. So. Mm-hmm. Number 3, I'm going Derek Stingley Jr. I think he had a good season, but there were some times where he got this year, and he didn't look as elite as he usually does, but he's still up there. I'm going with Quinyon Mitchell, number 2, man. Quinyon Mitchell, man. I think he had a great season. I think that they were so busy trying to figure out the number 2 corner that it overshadowed how my man was holding down the other side. So, and what's your name in the slot? Cooper DeJean, he was balling in the slot, but I think Quinyon Mitchell, eventually we might be saying he's the best corner in the league. And
Mhm.
then, of course, number one, Patrick Surtain Jr., or senior, second. What more can we say about this kid? He's been balling since Alabama. So he's been the best corner, probably the best 3, 4 years. So shout out to Patrick Surtain to say.
No, no, for sure, for sure.
All right, let's do safeties, man.
Safeties. At number 5, I had Kevin Bart. I thought he had a really good year with Chicago Bears. So I went with him. Number 4, I went with Jalen Hawkins with the New England Patriots. I thought he had a really decent year as well. Number 3, I still have Antoine Winfield Jr. Like, look, I know that Buccaneers defense looked pathetic at the end. I just think it wasn't really Antoine Winfield Jr.'s fault majority of the time. I think he's still top tier. Number 2, I got Kyle Hamilton. The thing with Kyle Hamilton is we all know he could probably easily be number 1, but injuries is always a problem with him. But I have him number 2, and then number 1 I got Derwin James. I thought Derwin James had a really solid year. Not sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. Number 5, I got Kevin Byard. I think he had like 7 or 8.
Yeah, like 7 or 8 interceptions. Yeah.
He's always taking the
I think he had
football.
like 50 or 60, like 50 solo tackles, 60 solo tackles.
Yeah.
Like
But he's always been taking the ball away. And still, as a older guy, he's still playing at a high level. Number 4, I'm going Brian Branch. I know he got hurt later in the season, but man, and I know that secondary wasn't the greatest, but like you said with Antoine Winfield, I'm the same way about Brian Branch. I think he's still one of the more elite safeties in this league. Number 3, I'm going with Derwin James. I think Derwin James, he's been one of the better safeties in this league. He's an athletic freak at 6'3", 230 pounds. The dude is just a baller.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I'm going Antoine Winfield. Same reasons you said. I think he's not the reason why that secondary doesn't, play to the level that they should play. And there was a lot of injuries in that secondary.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I know he's injury prone, but when he's on the field, I still think Kyle Hamilton is the best safety.
I feel you.
When he's on, I know that the Ravens defense was horrible, especially in the beginning of the season, but he wasn't the reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, man. Go ahead and cap this thing off. The Elimination Chamber happened this past.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, man. This was terrible. PLE. 6.5 up to. It was not good. It was predictable, but it was not good. Now, shout out to the ladies. The women elimination chamber match was probably the best match on the court. They went out first. Shout out to Raquel Rodriguez. She's putting up 30 points that night, and she balled out. She did her thing. Same thing with Kiana James. I think those two were like the MVPs of the Elimination Chamber. And that's what the Elimination Chamber is supposed to be for, to highlight the young talent and the people that are supposed to be, getting the push next. But you can still have your mainstays win the match. But it was a good match overall. Rhea Ripley ended up winning like I predicted. Mm-hmm. I just saw the writing on the wall. They got to step. And Rhea Ripley is the highest. She's the popular female wrestler at all of them. When she came out of her pod, the stadium erupted. So I knew she was going to win. You know what I'm saying? I think she's going to end up facing Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. And that was the match that I think they wanted. I do think that we'll get into prediction for WrestleMania later. But, Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill, that's what we're getting at WrestleMania. So shout out to Rhea Ripley. I know a lot of people have discourse. They're always trying to put her in a title match. But at the end of the day, you got to put your popular ones in there. It's not like she's not popular. It's not like, people don't want to see her. They do. So, and right now, Bianca Belair is hurt, because I do think that if Bianca wasn't hurt, I think she would have been the choice. But they went with Rhea. She's the safer pick. I get it. That's fine. So, as far as the other ladies, because usually you get storylines. I don't know where some of these other girls are going to go. As far as, Raquel Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss, Kiana James. It's going to be interesting to see where they go next. I do think we get Alexa Bliss, maybe Charlotte Flair match at WrestleMania. Maybe Raquel Rodriguez vies for the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe they, give her that. So we'll see. The next match was the Intercontinental Championship match. Uh, Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. Um, we all knew AJ Lee was going to win. She's considered a part timer, so it made sense for her to win this match. She could hold the belt into WrestleMania and then drop it to whomever they're gonna let her drop it to. Maybe it's a Raquel Rodriguez, maybe back to Becky Lynch. It's gonna be depending on what they do. It was a really good match, very
Mhm.
good, but we all knew AJ Lee was gonna win the match, so it is what it is. And then you had CM Punk versus Finn Balor, another one that we knew was going to be a good match, but we knew Finn Balor had no chance in hell to win this match.
Mhm.
And the way that he lost, I didn't think he was. I thought Dominic Mysterio may have came out because he told all his Judgment Day brothers, "Don't come out and help me. I want to try to win this straight up." But you knew Finn Balor was going to lose when they let CM Punk come out to the Michael Jordan Bulls theme song from the 90s. You knew it was over. You knew he wasn't gonna lose that match. So, but it was a good match. I think the ending was a little anticlimactic. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like, he put him in the sharpshooter. He got up, put him in the GTS, and it was over. It was just like it was no like suspense. Like, oh, here's a possibility that Finn can win. It was just like, all right, it's over. All right.
Yeah.
Then we go to now. They have been teasing this stupid ass box that somebody was supposed to be inside of and it said don't open until Elimination Chamber. And they've been teasing it in Raw. They've been shipping it to SmackDown, back to Raw, back to SmackDown. It said on this date, don't open until then. So people were speculating who is in this box. There's a wrestler. His name is Danhausen. He's kind of a gimmicky, creepy vampire type wrestler dude. He's a comedic wrestler. This was not the spot to
No, that's who was in the box.
yes. This is not the spot that they should have been revealing this dude. You could have revealed him on a regular ass SmackDown or Raw. You could have did some vignettes or something to tease that he's coming. But this wasn't the time because he couldn't, the box opens. They open the box, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. They open the box. It's a coffin. And if you watch wrestling, once I saw the coffin, I said, "Yeah, it's Danhausen." It's Danhausen because it was some people were speculating it was Danhausen. Then the coffin opens and these little creepy vampire chicks come dancing out of the coffin,
Mhm.
and he comes out, and it was just kind of like, "Oh, yeah, who the hell is the?" In WWE fans, they ain't into wrestling like that. They into WWE casuals. They don't know the fuck what Danhausen is. They're like, who the fuck is this nigga? My homie Country was like, "Who the hell is this?" I said, "It's Danhausen. He came from he was in AEW and he was a ROH, so
Mhm.
he's more of an independent guy."
Yeah.
But they was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Now he's really cool with CM Punk. You know what I'm saying? They're really cool. And look, Danhausen he's a comedic character, so I can see him working. I do see him working as like him and R-Truth can do some shit or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I can see him working. Just the reveal. This wasn't the spot for that.
Yeah.
So it was very underwhelming. He even got booed out the building. He even got booed out. But that wasn't Danhausen's fault. That's Triple H's fault. So then brings us to the men's elimination chamber. Um, I'm gonna tell you right now, Trick Williams is a superstar, bro.
Yeah.
That dude, he came out and the crowd was hyped. And he's supposed to be a heel. He comes out, he had the white mink coat on with the lights on him, and the crowd is going crazy for his theme song. That Whoop That Trick theme song is one of the top theme songs in in, um, in WWE. So he comes out, and the crowd was going crazy for him.
Mhm.
He kind of soaks it in. He gets on top of one of the pods. He's getting the crowd hyped up, and you can see that he's going to be a superstar. Like Trick is going to be a way better superstar in WWE than he was, and he was a superstar in NXT, but he's going to be way bigger in WWE. So, shout out to Trick. And then of course, who Logan Paul came out because he was the replacement for, because unfortunately the Vision, they are cursed, and you know Bronson Reed got hurt, Braun Breaker got hurt, and I'm gonna get into Logan Paul in a minute because some of the stuff that they booked him in this match. Of course, L.A. Knight came out, Javon Evans, Randy Orton, and then Cody Rhodes. The match was okay. There were some botches. I know LA Knight had a botch where he, does his signature. He jumps on the rope and does the elbow. He slipped, and then he, kind of dropped down and still had to do the elbow on Randy Orton. I felt like they didn't utilize Javon Evans enough. Some of his high flying moves that he could do in the chamber, he didn't even get to do his, OG cutter that he always does. Like there were some spots that they missed that they could have had in this match. And then of course, I didn't like the fact that they had Logan Paul eliminating half of the damn people in the match. He eliminated Trick Williams. He eliminated LA Knight. He eliminated Javon Evans. And I think that because they didn't have time to spin it or change some things, I think that spot was meant for Braun Breaker, but then he gets hurt. And then I think that spot was meant for Bronson Reed, and then he gets hurt. So then I think they was just like, well, we just gonna have to do it with Logan Paul.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then there was the spot where we all knew a masked man was going to come out because the masked man came out on SmackDown and we didn't know who the hell this masked man was. It was some random dude. So, but come to find out, he's under Seth Rollins. He goes to Seth Rollins' school. So another guy comes out. He climbs the cage. The referees bring him down. They take him out. And they reveal, and it's another guy who we don't know who he is. He's probably under Seth Rollins' school. So when Trick Williams gets eliminated, the gate is still open, the cage is still open. And when they're carrying him out, another masked man comes in. He kicks Logan Paul, gives him the curb stomp. Cody Rhodes pins him, takes the mask off. It's Seth Rollins. He's back. Paul Heyman going crazy or whatever, which I don't understand why you going crazy. You know the fuck he was.
Yeah.
I don't know why you going crazy, but he trying to play to the crowd, whatever. So then that happens. So then we got Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in the match. Of course, I knew this was going to happen. Drew McIntyre comes in to try to screw Cody, but then they end up beating up Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton gives him the RKO. Cody Rhodes gives him the crossroads. He pins him. Randy Orton. Then Cody gets up. Randy Orton hits Cody Rhodes with the RKO. Pins him. Randy Orton is your 2026 Elimination Chamber winner. So everybody was dreading that Cody Rhodes was going to win, but he didn't end up winning. But in the post, whatever you want to call it, post interviews or whatever, the general manager of SmackDown, Nick Aldis, comes out pissed off and says on Friday, SmackDown, we're getting Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship because he's sick and tired of Drew McIntyre coming out interfering in matches. He interfered in the first match between him, Jacob Fatu interfered in that match, but he's been interfering in all kinds of matches with Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. So they're gonna get that match. We all know what's gonna happen, Jacob Fatu is gonna come and interrupt that match. There's gonna be a DQ, and we're gonna get a fatal four-way at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu versus Randy Orton. That's what we're gonna get. So just be prepared
for WrestleMania.
That's gonna be night one. That's gonna be the main event for night one because we already know Roman Reigns and CM Punk is night two. So night one is gonna be that match. So they got to find a way to put Cody in there. They got to. And hey, say what you want about Cody Rhodes. I know people have a discourse with Cody, but hell, the crowd still go crazy for him. So it's not like, I just think it's more so on the internet people don't like him. But from what I see on my screen, people go crazy for him still. So the kids love him for sure. So they're going to keep pushing him. You know what I'm saying? And hey, that's what you try to get to the top too, so they can push you. So that I think that's what's going to happen next. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight. I know Roman Reigns, I think, is scheduled to come tonight, so I know him and CM Punk probably have another promo where they go at each other, talk trash to each other. We'll see what goes on. I think Finn Balor and Dom Mysterio will start rolling with that. I think that's going to be a match. I know Dom Mysterio has a match against Penta. I wouldn't be surprised if Dom loses the IC belt, and then it further pushes the tension between him and Finn Balor for a match at WrestleMania. We'll see what happens with Raquel. We all know that Liv Morgan is facing Stephanie Von Kier at WrestleMania for the World Championship. Um, yeah, man. So we'll see what happens. I know Gunther will probably get involved with somebody eventually. Um, and yeah, we'll see what happens next. See what happens with Seth Rollins. Are we gonna do Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul? We don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. But whatever, man. I don't see that. Seth is better than that, man. He deserves better, but it ain't his fault. A lot of those guys got hurt. I think we was gonna get Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania, but unfortunately, my brother got hurt, and speedy recovery to him and Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Get
How
back
long they
soon.
out for?
Well, what's the name had a slip, a hernia injury, so I don't know. I think that's like 6 months, something like that. And then what's the name? A tore bicep, so that's probably like a few months. So
Yeah.
injuries suck. They happen. So, and that does it for recap. All right, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man. I ain't got nothing.
For sure, for sure. All right, man. Who gets your flowers of the week?
Flowers. Flowers. Who can I give my flowers to? Who got my flowers to? Oh, you know what? I don't know if we ever did it, but I want to give my flowers to Reverend Jesse Jackson. I don't think we ever talked about him passing away. So I do want to, apologize for that. Give him his flowers. I do want to give flowers to. I know we did get a report yesterday with everything going on in the Middle East that there were some soldiers who did pass away the other day. So I definitely want to give my condolences and flowers to them. We can only imagine what families are going through currently right now in this climate. So I definitely want to give my flowers to the fallen soldiers for their sacrifice and all that with everything that's going on. I ain't gonna get too deep into all that, but I have my personal thoughts. But who else can we give it to? Shit, man, give it to me, man. It's birthday month, man. Birthday month here, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
April.
Nah, man, my birthday March 26th, B. My birthday in March.
You said April.
Nah, dog, it just shows you ain't really a brother like that, man.
Nah, man, you said
my birthday March 26th, dog. What I got like?
I'm not saying
my sister. My sister's birthday is in April. Hers is 10 days after mine. So yeah, it's birthday month, man. You know what I mean? Sure. Celebrating life. You know what I mean? Warm weather out here, feeling nice. You know what I mean? About to start cooking here in the next couple weeks.
Cooking,
you know what I mean?
You gonna put some on the grill?
No, I'm just talking about the weather in Vegas.
Oh, you say we gonna start cooking?
Yeah, we're gonna start be cooking here in the next month. You know what I mean? Like it's about to be hot. It's already warm. It's like 70, 75 degrees out here.
That's why we got the people coming out today to look at our damn air conditioning.
Yeah, man. So warm is out here. Anybody in the West Coast, I don't know what's like in Kansas City or anything like that, but
cold.
Cold. Sorry, but we're warm out here. We're wearing tank tops and shorts now. You know what I mean? It's that type of year. Pool season's out, so girls in bikinis and stuff like that. Shout out to all y'all who got your body right for summertime. Shout out to y'all. What else? March Madness coming up. Shout out to my brothers, man. I finally posted my first set of picks that I've been,
Yeah, I saw that, man. It was pretty good, man.
What's your thoughts, man? All right. Yeah. My first set, man. I'm working on it. You know what I mean? Very excited about the process, man. Excited about my brothers. Shout out to Spotted Tech. Shout out to Technicolor. Shout out to Jay Crazy. Shout out to everybody involved with You Remind Me, man. One of the best R&B parties out there, man. So I am very privileged that they allow me to, work on my craft with this photography thing, get better at that, man. Hopefully I could take that into some heights, man. Obviously, add that addition to the podcast and stuff like that. We would also love to like, you know, I know me and Chris, we've been talking about trying to generate a better experience on this podcast. We would love this podcast to look a certain type of way. We're gonna work hard towards that. I think that should be one of our goals this year. So, and then we gotta figure out what we're gonna do. NFL drafts. I would love to be at a pool. I gotta convince my man Chris to see if he can do the podcast by a pool. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out, man. Technology can work in mysterious ways, man. So we'll figure something out. But any other flowers? That's it. That's all I got. What about you?
I'm gonna give my flowers to Michael B. Jordan in the Sinners cast. Michael B. Jordan got got the Best Actor award at the Actors Award, formerly of the Screen Guild Awards. That's what they used to call it, but now it's just called the Actor Awards. He got Best Actor. It was a surprise. Nobody was expecting him to get it, but he ended up getting it. And the Sinners cast got Best Ensemble of a Cast award. So shout out to Sinners. They got their award. Greatly appreciated. Also, I didn't speak on it last week, but AJ Styles getting into the Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame, greatly deserved. He's going into the Hall of Fame. Also announced today, for all my old school wrestling fans, Demolition Tag Team is getting into the Hall of Fame too. So shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Who gets your hell no?
Hell nah. Who gets my hell nah? I've been in a great mood, man. I've been in a great positive mood. It's not been, obviously we can give hell nah to the same people every week, but I choose not to do all that. Who gets hell nah? I don't know, man. Still hell nah that we still haven't gotten any news about this Virgil Ortiz Boots fight. That's getting annoying at this particular time. Yeah. Mark, you took the words right out of my mouth, brother. You know what I mean? We all know who can get hell nah of the week every week. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. We still haven't got no news with Boots and Virgil Ortiz. I think I guess my hell nah for this week.
Yeah, my hell no goes to y'all president.
Yeah.
For starting a war that nobody signed up.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get permission to do it.
Nah.
He just did it.
Man, this is the same man that stated that he's a man that wasn't going to do any wars. He's going to be the peace man.
Yeah, for
sure.
You
got little Hegreth, whatever his name is. He out there, you know, and then Trump saying that more people are going to die just because it's based on war, and they don't even have a plan. They don't have a plan about what they're trying to do. Like, they just went and killed a whole faction of, you know, the leader of Iran. And I get it, you know, Iran has done some horrendous things, but yeah, I don't know, man. I ain't gonna get going on. Everybody knows. Everybody got their personal feels. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll just have a personal podcast and get everything off my chest. Yeah, man.
My other hell no goes to Floyd Mayweather.
Why Floyd?
He announced another fight.
Oh, yeah, he's fighting another. I'm telling you, man, he ain't beating the allegations, bro. It sounds like my man broke. It sounds like my man broke.
April 25th.
Are you leaning towards the side that my man has no money? That he's in financial hell?
He might be.
He might be in financial hell, bro. I don't like to talk about people's personal business, but he ain't helping the accusations.
Yeah, he's fighting some martial arts dude in Athens. So,
oh, you know who else get a hell no? Stephon Diggs, bro. Like, come on, dog. Like, you got Cardi B out here airing all your shit out. He's scraping his whole IG and stuff like that, man. You know, getting in cases and stuff, bro. Like, Stephon Diggs never learns, bro. He got to get a hell no too, man. He got to. Yeah.
But yeah,
Resident Evil 9, flowers.
Yeah, I see it all on my timeline. Everybody playing it. Y'all some
That game fire, bro. That game fire.
Oh my God.
This show week though, you know what I mean? You got MLB the show coming out,
not
WWE coming out.
right.
You're not getting that? What are you gonna get? What you been playing?
I'm chilling.
You
right
a married
now,
man now? He ain't playing nothing. You know what I mean? He
No,
gave up.
I've been playing
He
the
gave
game.
up.
I'm
What
just
you been
sitting.
playing?
Huh?
What you playing right now? What is your game right now of choice? If you cut your PlayStation on right now, what are you playing currently right now?
Right now, I just bounce around. It's all about feeling vibes right now. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might feel like playing Madden. Sometimes I play Undisputed. Sometimes I get back on the Assassin's Creed game that I still need to beat. Well, I beat the main story. I got this side quest story I got to beat.
So what new game are you interested in buying? Like, is there a new game you're interested in buying? Like you're looking forward to? Doesn't have to be out now, but in the future. Oh, so it's supposed to come out this month, but I think I pushed back to what, May or something.
Yeah.
He playing Pokemon and Minecraft. I believe that. He probably is. You know what I mean? What you choosing?
I'm not playing no
Charmander, Pikachu, Bulbasaur,
Charizard, whatever the name.
Oh, Charizard.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a Charmander. You're a Charmander guy.
And I really don't know. I watch.
You never played the Pokemon. You never played Pokemon, like Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Yellow.
I watched the show, the original.
I played it on the Game Boy like a long time ago. That game was fun.
Yeah, that
game was fun. I caught Mewtwo. I got all them cats. You know what I'm saying?
I couldn't get into it like that. Sorry.
Hey man, Pokemon cards is valuable now, man. I was talking to my homie the other day. This man, bona fide South Central. That motherfucker collecting Pokemon cards because of money that's involved in them cards. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, it's a business now.
I bet.
It's kind of crazy how the perception of Pokemon has changed. I remember when you used to be a Pokemon fan, it was you just the weird kid that likes Pokemon. You a nerd. Now it's just like, oh nah, you a smart businessman.
Well, that's anime period. So. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh hell no, man! What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. Get your goddamn ugly ass on.
Alrighty. Yeah, Christian, my oldest. Hey, do me a favor, Mom. Close out the show.
What? I can't even hear him. What did he say? All right. Oh, he wants me to close out. Oh, all right. Well, hey guys. So I want to thank everybody. Shout out to BetUS. Shout out to, shout out to Mark. Everybody that's been involved. Normally, I don't normally close it. I don't even know what's happening right now. Yeah, man. If you guys want to donate, Cris Small podcast. We appreciate it. You know what I mean. Shout out to everybody who watched. And yeah, man, we'll see y'all Wednesday nights. We will obviously have more NBA news, obviously more information on any more NFL news that does come about. We'll obviously have my random news. And yeah, man, so till Wednesday, man, y'all peace, love. Enjoy y'all Mondays, Tuesdays, and we'll see y'all Wednesday night, man. Peace.